version.
Oh, the free version is basically.
Yes,
And
but
the version is to pay, you know,
the high performance version, you pay more. Now, some chapter authors, you have the meeting on Wednesday night, you upload it afterwards. People give you emails the next day, hey, that was great, where's the link? And you say, well, I'm supposed to get it, and it doesn't come to the next day. People will say, well, that's too long to wait. I don't think it's too long, but if it's too long to wait, then we buy the high performance server version to get that out faster. And my experience right now, it takes an hour to record, and I upload it less than an hour. I get back an email in an hour saying, here it is, MP4 file.
So let me ask you a question, to make sure I understand. This thing is going to record audio, and it's going to record PowerPoint slides.
Or any you could use
And it
mine.
stays on the machine that you're recording it on, or does it go back up?
Goes back up.
Okay. So we better have network access when we do that.
not when you record.
How would you record?
But
That's the secret.
I heard a contrary information, but the version we have, people have told me that you can have it in a room like this without Wi-Fi. You take it back to your room and you open it up, it says, bandwidth, then it starts going up. You shut the laptop and
And
stops
they
it.
get the material that you've recorded after you go back to where there's good bandwidth. And then if someone wants to watch this, presumably they have to log in and then.
You get, right now, you get an email with a license. I gave you my license, so I get 30 emails from you guys because you're trying it out, and I'm going to delete all of them, but after tomorrow, if I get an email from you as you demonstrated for your chapters, I will forward that email on to you. You have a URL. You can look at there in your browser. You can put it up on your section website. You can right-click it and download it to your iPad and watch it on the plane ride home or something like that. With active room?
I was wondering, I've used Camtasia 7 before where you are limited to 1028 video resolution. Are you able to update it to high definition, 1900 by whatever screen?
I don't know. For the audience that this market is going for, professors and PowerPoint, that may not be one of their offerings.
It's just always a hassle to change the resolution on your screen, on your notebook and such.
Okay, well, send me that information and I'll do some research on it.
Thanks.
Have says JohnWalz and is there a space?
Yes, there is.
And relay 1 to 3 says.
No, just 6 characters. No. Yes, I think it was capitalized first time. Has anyone got it to work?
Yeah?
Okay. Okay. Question?
I'm having trouble downloading.
I mean, you are making a presentation. Can you record this whole thing right now?
That's what
We
I'm
were going to
doing.
plug in the audio, so we're going to do that for 115 presentation.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you want to come back and see how better the presentation
Right.
is.
That would be good.
So I think I'm recording right
Sit
now.
down and get down. You did? Yeah.
But your mic isn't, it's here pretty weak.
So is this a PC or is it?
Well, that's when he talks, it
Yeah,
goes up
okay,
so many
yeah.
bars.
Pretty
I'm pretty
weak.
far away.
Yeah, pretty far away. Well, catch us.
Oh, because he's got the mic up there.
No, it's picking up your there. I can hear it.
Oh. Are you sure? Are you? Yeah. When I said something, it beeped it right up.
So there's 12 steps that we're going to show you, and step 12 is you're happy enough to send it up.
John, maybe you should ask people questions.
Yes.
And we can all.
Right, we have a Q&A at the end. So that's the timeline, the big picture, which we probably explain this. You have it, the software, it goes up into a cloud, here, actually it's a server here in California, and you can run if you select like MP4, that's pretty flexible in all types of devices. We're now doing a discovery whether iOS can run this. This is a little more detail. What we're doing here is 30 copies of this software. They all run through our server. This is the one that we bought. I IEEE bought the cheapest version, the low performance one, but we can up it, double it, depending on complaints. And right now we're configuring this as MP4. If someone has some other suggestions, we can create profiles, and Ted and I will design profiles for the typical technical meeting. And this license is putting things on something called screencast.com. Our plan in the future is to have a cheaper, more high performance cloud server for movies in general. But one thought was we'd keep it back on an IEEE server, but we still have better control using our vendor. But, you know, what the university people do, they like to use iTunes University. So I'm inviting Ron up here to go through the science of audio, the art and science of audio.
Mostly art.
Okay, so, yeah. So, okay.
Yeah, keep that one.
It's right back there.
Okay,
Oh, it's coming.
this is, we're actually using the hardware that we're talking about right here. I happen to have one of the boxes here. It's really pretty straightforward. It supports 2 microphones. You have 2 independent gains for those microphones, so that you can actually use the box as a standalone device.
More than one, you can have one for the speaker and one for the phone.
Exactly. If everybody heard that, you have one for the speaker and one for the questions. Now, there are 3 outputs on the back, okay? And we'll talk about those in a moment. The one thing, some people have talked about using the built-in laptop microphone. That really doesn't work very well. Basically because as you move to and away from it, and as people turn their heads to look at the screen, use a laser pointer or what have you, and even you'll notice with this lavalier mic, as I turn my head, the volume goes down. That's, and we'll talk about that more in a moment. So there are 3 ways to do this. You can use a fixed stand with this mic right here, and I'm going to, if you'll notice, both of these are on, but we're not having any problem with both of them on, even though we're right here together. Okay. So you can do that. You can use the lavalier mic as I'm using now, or you can use the headset. If you have a single speaker, the headset is the best approach, because as he turns his head, the mic stays with him. All right? So the level stays the same no matter what the speaker does. He can walk around and so forth. And we'll talk more about levels in a moment. But basically, you set this up in accordance with the manual. It's really dead simple. You attach the 2 antennas, you plug it into power, and you figure out which outputs you're going to use. That's all there really is to it. Now, it turns out that this is using UHF. It's using TV channels that are unused in your area. There's 200 choices. You will find one, usually the first ones that come up work. You'll find one that doesn't have any interference. Now, please save it till the end. It turns out that the FCC has a process going on right now to sell this UHF spectrum. Okay, At some point, and it looks like before it hits us, it's going to be about 3 to perhaps 5 years out before they actually outlaw these things. And I say outlaw. What it will mean is that you can't use a channel that's been sold to somebody in your area, okay? So we expect that most of these things will still work, but if they don't, in 5 years, you look for another solution. Yeah, okay? In 5 years, technology marches along, although I have to tell you, audio technology marches very slowly. Okay, you set the thing up, and again, we recommend the headset for obvious reasons. Okay, can you advance to the next one, or can I? Yeah. Okay. All right, so basics are that there are 2 ways to transmit audio across a wire. One essentially is a 3-wire connection, which uses balanced impedances. And it turns out that just by, because if the microphone is a source, the way it's set up is to have those out of phase 180. And that actually helps a little bit too. And then recombine them at the end, and you have noise canceling. It turns out you don't need that for almost all of our applications, unless you run the output through in close proximity to power. Okay, in which case you'll get 60 hertz hum, or 50 in Europe. Okay, so that's the key idea, is that you really don't need the balanced lines, but you have 2 balanced line outputs. Well, it turns out that mixers, and we're using one right here, and I'll, oh, you pulled, no, I want a mixer, yeah. Okay, this is one of our mixers that we use for the conferences, and you'll notice they have the XLR inputs, the 3-wire, but they also have a bunch of 1/4-inch bone inputs. Okay, so you can actually use either. It turns out that in the box is a 1/4-to-1/4 cable. So you already have the 1/4 out, which by the way mixes both mics equally, and it goes to a 1/4 in. So that's a handy thing to use. Let's see. No mixers. We're going to talk more about that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the first case is no house audio. You're just recording to Camtasia. This is very dead easy. Okay. And let's see. Where's my box of tricks here? So it turns out that there's about a zillion different ways to come up with a cable that will hook into your laptop. Okay, you can take a 1/8 cable and put the 1/8 to 1/4 adapter on it. And by the way, everything here is tip sleeve. Okay, in other words, it's essentially a 2-conductor. If you look at it, we do not use the stereo connector, which is the 3-wire, except again, if you look at it, we don't even use it for the XLR. The XLR goes directly into a mono 1/4. So we do not use the tip ring sleeve connectors anywhere in any of this stuff. If you do that, you have the potential to cause some strange things to happen in your laptop and or wherever. Okay? So it turns out that the tip, even if you have the type of connector on your laptop, which is a combined microphone headphone, the tip is always the microphone. So this mono attachment will always work in your laptop. It turns out that we also have the option, you could simply take the speaker's input only through the appropriate XLR connector, take it to the 1/4 inch, or adapt the 1/4 inch to the 1/8 inch to go directly into your laptop. So again, there are cables galore. You can even find one that goes to USB. Okay? But we are going to provide you with, it turns out in the box is a 1/4 to 1/4 cable, and we are going to give you a 1/4 to 1/8 adapter. Yes, they're all here. Okay. So this is the first case we just talked about, 1/4 to 1/8. All right. The next case is using a house audio with access to the mixer. Now, many times you don't have access to the mixer because it's in a secure area. This is especially true at borrowed larger facilities or hotels. Okay. In fact, I was surprised to see this mixer sitting here open. Okay. But if you have access to the mixer, then there are a couple of different ways to connect it. I'm showing one here. Basically, what you do is you use the mixed output to go to your laptop. You can take the XLRs, take them to the mixer. Okay? But there's another option. And I think I got one here. Oh, I thought I had a wife. You can use a 1/4-inch splitter. You can use a 1/4 to 2/4. Okay, and that will basically allow you to go to both the mixer and your laptop, or better yet, if somebody is operating the mixer and maintaining the levels appropriately, you can split the output from the mixer and take one side to the laptop and one side to the room. That's the optimum condition. Because what happens is, as people get more excited, they talk louder. If they're unsure, they talk softer. If you're not using the headset, every time they turn their head, you're going to change levels. It's important to get the level right, because if the level's too low, then you're not going to be able to bring it up later without bringing up all the background sound. Whatever's in the room next door, people coughing, flipping pages, talking to each other, whatever, that's all going to come up too, and it's very bad. If the level's too high, you get real distortion, and I'll show you that in a moment. Okay. Without access to the mixer, it's very straightforward. Typically, the microphone that they provide is connected with an XLR connector. You simply take XLR out in place of the microphone. You simply plug their microphone connector into the wireless box. It's dead easy. You could also split that. They make XLR splitters. You can do it either. You can take both out. Doesn't matter. Or you can use our splitter to split the 1/4-inch out, take one side to an XLR. There's an infinite variety of combinations here, okay? The best is, honestly, to take XLRs out to the mixer, because then you have independent control. Okay. Again, this is all really elementary stuff.
Are the slides available online?
Yes. Also, I put a white paper together with this, which has a lot of discussion about what's going on here, and that will be distributed as well. Okay, microphone basics. Now, the first thing to understand is that this thing has a cardioid pattern. All dynamic microphones do. There's a diaphragm in here, and if you do this, you overmodulate. And also, every Peter packed a pack of pickled peppers. Okay, every P is going to really mess things up. So if someone's using a handheld microphone, you want to hold it, as you saw Tom doing earlier, somewhere between 4 and 6 inches from your face and down at about a 45-degree angle. That way you don't spit into it and you don't overmodulate it. Getting people to do that is very difficult. Okay, getting people to hold the microphone properly is really quite hard. That's why we recommend either the lavalier or the headset or the presenter. Then it gives you this microphone to use for questions from the audience, which will then be recorded into the Camtasia. The question won't have to be repeated. Okay. Second is the lavalier. You'll notice that it should be as close to the throat as possible. The reason for that is very simple. If I take this, put it down here, you can't hear me anymore. All right? This is not a dynamic microphone. This is a piezo microphone. And Also, never let the speaker hold it. Because when they hold it, bad things happen. Okay? So, very simple. Let's see if I can get this back on. I'm going to give it back to you in a second. But also, it's best to be as close as possible to the body center line. When the speaker turns their head, you're going to lose them. But if it's on one side or the other, you'll never get them in the first place. There is a limit to how much gain you can put in these systems, and it's limited by feedback from the room, assuming you're using house audio. And that feedback happens when you have to turn the gain up so high that you get that. Okay? Everybody hates that. It's a sign of lack of professionalism in audio. Okay? So we don't do that. The last, and I'm still a little hot here. The last one, and this is also included. Both mics are included with the belt pack, okay, in your kit. And we highly recommend you use the headset mic. The position is the corner of the mouth. Part of the reason for that is to avoid this business of the P and also over gain. It turns out that every headset microphone, including the ones I use in my airplane, are designed to work at the corner of your mouth. That's how their pattern is set up. And if you do it that way, you'll get very good audio. Also, it should be within about an inch of the face. Okay. So all of that is dead simple. And like I said, I'm going to give this to you. If you follow those rules, you have the potential to make a good audio recording. So how do we know if it's any good? You make a short test recording, and Camtasia automatically asks you, it starts out and asks if you want to make a 10-second test. Okay? You make that test. Now, one of the problems that I mentioned is that people will very often start out either over loud or too softly. And then they change with time. That's why it's useful to have the mixer and or to have access to these controls so you can check your levels in Camtasia. Camtasia has the level down at the bottom, and it's on all the time if you have the little window enabled. Okay? So you check for the level, and you check for the clarity. And again, you don't want overmodulated, distorted sound, and you don't want too low. There are 5 volume and gain controls involved in this whole sequence, if you think about it, if you have a mixer. There's actually 2 in your laptop. There's the System 1 and the Camtasia 1. There's 2 in the mixers, typically the individual one and the master gain. And then there's one on the box itself. So you basically don't want to turn any of those gains up toward the very top because you get distortion. Okay? But you want to operate maybe 2/3 to 3/4 of the way up, and then adjust your master gain or your individual gain on the mixer. Okay, troubleshooting. There's 2 pages for troubleshooting audio in the Camtasia manual that's included in the white paper I'm handing out. And we'll go through more of this as we go through the hands-on afterward, and I'm done.
So there's one configuration you did not mention. And that's the most of the laptop. Your laptop has UI headset, essentially.
Right.
What you do in that situation?
Okay. Again, the headset jack, these modified jacks, the tip sleeve jack, the tip is always for the microphone, even in tip ring sleeve configuration.
And then you can buy mixers that have the USB out, and you know Camtasia works with USB audio.
Yes, it does. It's quite happy with this. Okay. And in fact, that's certainly one of the good options. Honestly, if you're going to be professional about it, I recommend using a mixer. I recommend, honestly, there's one other thing. It turns out, the best thing to do is present everything from a master computer and control that. Have the speaker control the slight advance of the guitar remotely. This is an RF device. It works over 100 feet. Okay? So if you put the mixer and the presenting computer and everything back at a station, either anywhere in the room that's convenient, then it all just works very readily because you can monitor. You can monitor the thing as it's going. You can adjust levels. You can check that the Camtasia is working properly, and also as you get more sophisticated and you're using the video camera, you can control that as well, all from the central location. And that's really what would you call it? That's the Ben's approach, I guess. I'm sorry. I thought I did say.
Yeah, the quarter inch to.
Yeah, it's quarter to quarter, and we give you a 1/4 to 1/8 adapter. So you're all set to hook it into your laptop. Yeah.
So we're running a little bit behind schedule. We have 30 minutes to go through this. I'm going to, Joseph, I'm going to just run through these slides, and then we'll start the demo. So most of you have logged in. You chose your Windows or Apple, and did you? Is this load on an iPad? So that would be this one here and the Android down there. I didn't have a way of testing that. We have a copyright form that we'll send you as part of the package, the PDF. Yes, and when you select a speaker, you need to be upfront that this is something that IEEE would like to share with the speaker. And this is a copyright for conference papers, and I'm thinking it's too restrictive where we want to take it away. So there's 12 easy steps. Launching the recording software, and as I mentioned earlier, if you have a Mac, it's a little security concern, so that you have to do a left click or right click, drop it down, and hit the word open.
Right. So, having actually loaded it, it comes up and it says not logged in. So I don't know who to log in as.
Me, John Walz,
okay.
Relay 123.
And that would also go into the Camtasia Relay login. So it's separate.
Have like a login screen and then.
Yes, right. You do that all the time. Yes. My computer remembered you did it, so it fills it in. You'll see when it comes up, you want to click on which audio device you're using. It's recommended not to use the. You guys can use the built-in because you don't have the wireless mic. But you have a choice. It'll recognize whether you have something plugged in on your laptop, and you'll use the. What would you call that type of audio input? It's line input. So yes, on the laptop you have a choice of the built-in or the.
It actually tells you, and it will suggest that it's a microphone.
Okay, good. You'll be, if you have, most of us here have only one display. Sometimes you have two displays and they want to know which one it is. Actually, I think I do have two displays because my laptop knows that this is my other display. So you'll pick that screen to have it recorded, not the one that is on. Now over here. Then to